All right. Oh, yeah. I figured it out much quicker today. Look, I got the camera up front this time, guys. God damn, I look like. My god damn, I look like shit. I want to look at the camera. I can't see when I'm looking. Alright, alright, alright. I guess this is better angle. Maybe. Oh. Lower. Does this lower things? What happens if I do this? Yeah. Okay. About that. Ooh. I suppose that is a bit better. Guys think that's good? Oh yeah. Alright, man. This is the live stream. And it's time to fucking rip into criminals. Let's take a look at some Jimmy Dore. Guys, wait, oh no. I know what we're doing. Council of Trent. This guy, Count Trent, he's a Jew convert to Catholicism. I wonder if he will renounce his Zionism. Or, at the end of the day, he is Jewish. But I'd be willing to accept him into the fold. I don't mind. As long as he's, can stop being a Zionist with support for Israel. This blind dislike of Islam based on nothing but what we've been told by the government for the most part is blinding people to the real truth of people who are really pulling the strings, probably. Okay? Right now, it doesn't look like the Middle East has that much power. Maybe Iran does, but we're all getting fucked up right now, guys, because of one country who since the 1980s has been asking us to do this. And we finally went through with it. Let me show you, okay? I hope I don't get copy striked for this. Oh my gosh, probably will. Okay, Iran. Let's watch this real quick, guys. I want to show you how long it's been going on since at least this time. It's been going on since the 80s, but let's give it a shot.
Okay, thank you for waiting. The president has asked me to come out and make a brief statement about the wire that just went out a couple minutes ago. To make things short, I will just confirm that yes, we do have a moon base, and yes, we are currently experiencing some bear problems. Now, I will open it up if there are any questions.
Mr. Press Secretary! Mr. Press Secretary! Mr. Press Secretary!
New York Times.
Yes. I have a 11-part question.
I'm sorry, I only have time for 2.
All right, let me get this straight. So the United States government is admitting that we do have a moon base and that there is a bear problem on said moon base.
Yes, that is correct.
All right, follow-up question.
Are you
us?
That's a really good question.
No, we are not, and I would like to remind everyone to keep the language civilized. This is the White House.
Excuse me, Mr. Secretary, Bob Daniels, Newsweek.
Mr. Daniels.
How long have we had the moon base? And are these bears Earth bears, or are they from the moon?
I'm sorry, I'm not at liberty to disclose how long we have had this moon base at this time. We do believe these to be Earth bears. We have no reason to believe these to be lunar bears or even Saturn bears.
Todd Albright, PBS. There's Saturn bears?
I am also not at liberty to go into the various types of woodland life forms on Saturn or any of the other 12 planets.
9 planets.
Right. I've said too much already. What I can show you is the images that have been beamed down to us from the Odyssey satellite system.
This guy died of a broken neck from falling off of his balcony. I wonder.
Some just a couple hours ago.
I got another
This
one.
is the view out of the front door of the United States secret moon base. This was taken yesterday before we discovered the bear problem. And this one was taken just a couple hours ago. So, as you can see, bears everywhere.
Mr. President, Mr. President,
Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, those bears appear to have guns and motorcycles.
We believe they may be involved in some sort of intergalactic drug cartel, perhaps affiliated with one of the interstellar wizard alliances.
Wizard alliances?
Yes, next question.
Just a thought, more of
You know who's got a wizard alliance? You know who the wizards really are. The Kabbalistic wizards.
a shot in the dark, but we wouldn't happen to be invading Iran today, would we?
You got me. You got
I fell for it. You almost got away with that one.
me. No, I went too far. I almost had it. I should have stopped after the slides. I knew I should have stopped
I didn't think
there.
anything about it until the cartel thing, and I was like,
Okay, all right, let's forget this whole thing. Who wants a drink? First round's on me. Come on.
So you see, this has been going on over quite some time. And look, yeah, they're pointing to aliens to distract us from it. Maybe he knew. Have you guys ever read Childhood's End by Arthur C. Clarke? I actually have a copy of it. The only person I've ever seen speak about it is, Alex Jones, and he kind of butchers it, but his understanding of it. Jesus, look at that bald spot. I don't know. Gross. Yeah. Holy shit. Why do I look so much more bald on camera? Fuck. I don't worry, guys. Just the bald filter. I have hair there, okay, and I won't put a yarmulke over it. Okay. There was one more thing here. Hold on a second. When you think about, I was thinking about the war in Iran. What the fuck was I? There was something else that was in that vein. This vein right here. Okay. What the? There was something else. Okay. Whatever, guys. Whatever. I'll go to what I'm looking for. Really, I should attack. I need to start going after people I disagree with. But I said I'd go after I'd take a look at this from a secular angle. Critical secular angle, obviously. If you're not critical of Israel right now, there's something wrong with you. Even the people that I know who are not, trying to plan trusters, what have you, even my mom, sadly, to a degree, is like this, but they're just like, well, we have to let this happen because otherwise the petrodollar and all that. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, that's a cope. We shouldn't be doing this to uphold some sort of petrodollar for something that's been obsolete forever. I mean, we don't have to use like most of engines we have go. I mean, it's been multiple people. I remember in the 2000s seeing a guy run a car on, I don't know, I forget what, but, water came out of the exhaust and then he drank a glass of the water from it. And I believe that guy died mysteriously, as did another guy who did that like in the 1970s. So, yeah, it's very interesting. But let's see, I gotta go to G, H, I, J, K, G. Where is it? Right there. All right, guys. Let's take a critical, secular look at another reason that we should not like Israel. There's so many damn reasons, guys. Open your eyes. That's all I can tell you. Like, what was the Here's a quote by Benjamin Franklin. Let's do it. Those who trade, let's see, those who trade rights for safety. All right. Let's see. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither. Okay? So, I mean, if you're an American and you believe in, Americanism, whatever, not that I really, it's hard to believe in American excellence in this day and age. There was a time where you could say that there was American excellence. There was a time where our country was full of very smart people who were able to, wage a war on multiple fronts and win, even though maybe we should have never gotten involved in that war. I don't know. The problem with Hitler was he's too greedy. If he wanted to fix his country, maybe he could have. Maybe he could have expelled the Jews, like multiple times has happened throughout history. But because he went on that, because it got so genocidal, we're dealing with the repercussions of a bunch of either supremacist or just traumatized Jews who think that, that the Holocaust is around the corner every day. And the reason that they're afraid of that is maybe because of what they're doing in their hearts. They know that it's wrong, a lot of it. You know what I mean? And the rabbit hole in them goes deep as fuck. A lot of people are just not willing to engage with it, or they didn't used to be, for sure. But nowadays, maybe people, with Jeffrey Epstein, everything like that, with our president being called the first Jewish president, I believe it. I believe it. I don't know why they didn't say that the first term, but the second term, he's Jewish. First term, not Jewish. Second term, Jewish. I believe Donald Trump is part Jewish. I don't know. He's obviously fucking just absolutely bought and paid for at this point. I hope I'm wrong, guys. I hope I'm wrong. But even if he achieved all his goals, this whole thing was still to begin with. Even if it gives us another 50 years of peace, it was not right to bomb a school full of children, things like that. On behalf of Israel, especially. Okay, guys? This is Israel's war. Let them deal with the consequences. If they want to drop a nuke in the Middle East so they don't get taken over, let them blow themselves up. My advice to anybody even close to them is to push, maybe that whole region should just be taken off the map, honestly. If there ever was going to be a nuclear bomb dropped, that's probably the best place it could be. Just a little tactical. Honestly, there's not many countries small enough to just take out with one nuke, but Israel is one of them. So, I don't know. But they want to take us with them wherever they're going. So let's take a look at this video. One of these videos, right? Let's take a big fat look at it. Remini, dude. I hate that this stats on my GPU, CPU is showing up. That didn't used to be there. Anyways, okay. Let's take a look. It's in a book. Reading Rainbow. Okay. Which one of these really a war for Israel? Take a look.
The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission.
As the president warned, an effort of this scope will include casualties. War is hell.
We expect to take additional losses. And as always,
It's it's funny. Trump purged people. Now, I'm not going to be somebody who says that maybe there wasn't a purge necessary, because you looked at generals like General Milley, who was like, saying he wanted to read White Rage to understand it, because he wanted, he reads, what the fuck, he said, I read the Communist Manifesto to understand that. I don't, no. You don't read a book of nonsense. Like, we know all we need to know about them. Like, they tell you every day, all day, people who are like that, okay? But as much as leftists are fucking annoying, there is far more that we should be worried about. And I think there's finally an issue that the right and the left can agree on. Ironically, Israel is that issue. The one that the left, hate it. You know what I mean? Okay. If you're one of those gays for Palestine, cool. Cool. It's it takes odd bedfellows. You have some odd bedfellows to accomplish a goal, whatever. If we finally have something that could unite us, the problem is the left doesn't want to unite. Like, we're talking about the real, actual evil. They fucking hate the Nazis. They've always wanted to, in their mind, they're slaying Nazis. Well, the Ashkenazis are basically Nazis at this point. They're creating concentration camps. They're shooting women and children for target practice. They just harassing people, destroying Christian churches, killing Christians, not feeding starving people. They live by a code of ethics that is absolutely insane. It's called banking. It's called fucking just, international Jewry. And that's why, one thing that makes me suspicious about Nick Fuentes is that he'll never go into the banking side of things. He has a mind good enough to understand that, and he understands the greater Israel project and all that shit. But, fractional reserve banking is extremely a part of this stuff, okay? And Nick Fuentes does have good political analysis, there's no doubt, but the fact that you leave out banking, it's often what is not said. It's the dog that didn't bark. That is often what you need to look for. Okay? People will say so much, but what they don't say and are unwilling to say, or whatever. I heard Nick Fuentes say, if you can't explain it in a succinct matter or succinct way, then don't tell me about it. Well, there's plenty of material and plenty. It's kind of hard to succinctly tell somebody how you're getting Jewed by the banks, okay? It's kind of hard to do that within one paragraph, but it's very simple. It's not very simple. It's just, at the end of the day, it's simple. The concept is simple. We take the money that the value is only given to it by us and what we believe it's worth, and they lend it out. And there's a great video on that we'll have to watch. But let's go with this.
We will work to minimize U.S. losses, but as the Secretary said, this is major combat operations.
On June 15th, 2025, during the 12-day war between Iran and Israel, with assistance from the United States, Trump apparently vetoed a plan to kill Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. A senior administration official told Reuters, "Have the Iranians killed an American yet? No."
If this guy doesn't like me doing this, okay, well, I don't think he would. All right? I don't think he would mind me reacting to this because it amplifies the message.
Until they do, we're not even...
That would be very Jewish behavior to, not allow this.
Talking about...
So I'm going to go ahead and trust that this GDF guy will not engage in that Jewish behavior.
going after the political leadership.
Legalism.
So what changed between then and now?
Voyeuristic.
Hey everyone, I am a one-man operation, and I need all the support I can get. I want to
Me
thank everyone who has
too.
become a patron. Your support
Me
means the world and is
too.
essential for me to be able to produce more videos.
Hi,
There's
brother.
exclusive content on my Patreon as well that I can't show on YouTube.
Waco.
Love you all, take care. A major turning
Alright.
point was the protests that broke out in Iran in late December. These escalated greatly after January 8th. Less than a week later, on
happened to
January
my
13th,
vape?
according to the Washington Post, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, an Iran hawk, used a secure iPad reserved for presidential intelligence briefings to show Trump clandestinely acquired videos of regime violence against Iranian protesters and bodies in
1 second, guys. Let me find my freaking vape. Let us continue.
the streets. Emotive images have swayed Trump in past crises. Disturbing images of a Syrian chemical weapons attack on its own people in 2017 moved Trump to order missile strikes. Indeed, violent videos apparently had an impact. Per CNN, the president was moved by seeing videos from Iran showing past executions, grisly scenes that seemed likely to repeat themselves
So they fear porned him. They fear porned Trump, maybe. Let's see.
amid the regime's brutal crackdown on protesters. Their source also said that by the morning, after encouraging Iranians to take to the streets and declaring help is on its way, Trump appeared closer than he had been previously to calling for a limited military operation. That same day, however, Trump spoke with the Israeli prime minister on
When
the
did
phone.
this one come out?
During the course of the conversation,
Let's do his most recent or the creation. Let's what's the most Okay, let's take a look at this.
as revealed years ago in Bob Woodward's book Plan of Attack, Bush cited the threat to Israel as a justification for invading Iraq. In September,
They remember that? The babies on the floor, the incubators, that, you know, that was a big reason. Well, now we're the ones who are killing babies, right? So, I don't want to attach myself to them by saying we're the ones because nobody actually voted for this. This is not what was said nor done. And, I don't know. You know, I know Trump always saw Iran as a threat, and like, I wasn't totally against like limited strikes, limited things to ensure like the trade lanes stay open and stuff like that. But this isn't that, guys. All right, let's just stop with the coping. No more coping, guys.
2002, Bush held an intelligence briefing with House members in the cabinet room and reported to them that the war on terrorism is going okay. We are hunting down al-Qaeda one by one. The biggest threat, however, is Saddam Hussein and his weapons of mass destruction. He can blow up Israel, and that would trigger an international conflict.
Why does that bar pop up?
Despite what he has said at various points, Trump sought regime change in his war on Iran. In his video posted to Truth Social announcing the attack, he made that abundantly clear.
When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations.
Israeli Ynet News reported the following day that the war began with a surprise daylight strike on the Supreme Leader's compound in the heart of
Let's make a martyr, guys.
Tehran. According to Israel, 30 bunker buster bombs killed.
I just want to be clear. None of us really have any idea what is actually going on over there. How many ships are lost or anything like that. I mean, we could check out a History Legends video where he tries to geolocate and figure these things out. But at the end of the day, there's still a ton of misinformation out there. Who knows? But one thing that is not misinformation is very well documented, and it didn't, before this war, before AI even existed, was documented was Israeli war crimes nonstop, and their degeneracy and their nonstop drive to embed themselves in any government they can get their hands on. All right, Maybe I should take a distinction between Israelis and the diaspora. But at the end of the day, I really don't know, okay? I can't know unless somebody, like, absolutely. If you're a Jew, you need to revoke your citizenship to Israel. You need to get rid of it. It's not something you should be a part of. If you think we're a colonist country in the U.S. and we're like colonizers and all that shit, then how you support Israel is beyond me. All right? The Crusader states that were set up were more ethical than this. Okay? Sure, yeah. Back then, like, you know, there was rules of, not the rules of engagement, whatever. Now there is, and they're being broken. And the ways and the numbers of people that are dying are just absolutely insane. So, and it's just disgusting behavior. Disgusting.
Khamenei, along with dozens of senior security and political officials. This is without a doubt a major intelligence failure on the part of the Iranian government, as has been observed repeatedly in American media coverage. What followed, however...
I don't think it was a failure. I think this guy he basically wanted to be a martyr. He said before he died, I'm ready to go, basically.
Was a failure of judgment on Trump's part. I'm not sure it was so much an intelligence failure, as there was ample intelligence.
Everybody always thinks you cut off the head of the snake of leadership. That'll do it. Just because, like, I think we're stuck in that paradigm because, like, Alexander the Great said it, and we can't think differently. Like, but also when Alexander the Great fought, he kind of got stuck in a forever war himself, didn't he? And his empire fell apart very fast after his death. So, don't get me wrong, I'm an Alexander fanboy in a lot of ways. I think I don't know, he may have been evil. Back then, no, it was before we had modern day morality. Everybody was a pagan back then. So, I can look back on that and think it's cool because the rules were different back then and people didn't know largely. So, I don't think back then you could say ignorance is no excuse. I mean, everybody was absolutely ignorant of basically everything, I would think. I don't know. I know there's a lot of people who want to, like, claim that, like, the, pyramids were giant power stations or some crazy shit. I can go down the crazy... There's one video channel I want to watch that just for fun. Like, it's like a guy who believes in every single conspiracy. And I don't know, I feel bad for people like that, but I also think that they might be containment of some form, or they're there to discredit actual people who have figured out actual conspiracies. Okay? And another thing I'll say is about Israel's numbers of, like, their approval for war and all that stuff. They're basically like North Korean numbers. And so either the government is fundamentally dishonest and getting polls that are, like, just they never manifest normally, or they're the country with the most bloodthirsty country that in existence. I mean, honestly, what is their approval rating of this war? It's pretty high. I don't know.
Saying simply assassinating Khamenei would not yield regime change. As I've mentioned previously, a report from the National Intelligence Council concluded a week before the attack that even a major American operation would not topple the regime. According to a report from Reuters, the CIA concluded that Khamenei would quickly be replaced by hardline Revolutionary Guard elements if he was assassinated. This appears to be what happened. Despite Mojtaba Khamenei being named as his father's successor, the Revolutionary Guards are the dominant voice on strategic decisions during the war, according to Reuters. Trump's cabinet members have since downplayed regime change in their statements. One can easily imagine their desire to distance themselves from such a remote possibility.
This is not a so-called regime change war, but the regime sure did change.
Oh.
Trump himself changed his tune shortly after this press conference. In a Medal of Honor ceremony at the White House, he laid out the war's objectives. Notably absent was regime change.
We're ensuring that the world's #1 sponsor of terror can never obtain a nuclear weapon.
Just days later, however, Trump reiterated his desire for regime change. Writing on Truth Social, there will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender, which would include the selection of a great and acceptable leader. By the end of the month, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth does an about-face.
Isn't it funny
declaring
how they
regime
just
change
lie
had
about
already
everything?
occurred.
This new regime, because regime change has occurred, should be wiser than the last.
Curiously, that same day, Secretary of State Marco Rubio gave an interview to Al Jazeera, where he falsely claimed that regime change was not the objective of the operation, while also saying the administration would be glad to facilitate it.
Do we think the people of Iran deserve better leadership than what they've gotten from the clerical regime? 100%. Would we be heartbroken if there was a change in leadership? Absolutely not. If there's something we could do to facilitate that, would we be interested in participating? Of course. But that was not the objective of this operation.
Fudge. Where was that?
Was not the objective of the operation, while also saying the administration would be glad to facilitate it.
Do we think the people of Iran deserve better leadership than what they've gotten from the clerical regime? 100%. Would we be heartbroken if there was a change in leadership? Absolutely not. If there's something we could do to facilitate that, would we be interested in participating? Of course. But that was not the objective of this operation.
Didn't he also say that we did this because of Israel? I think he had a bit of a Freudian slip at one point.
That Rubio revealed that they chose to join an imminent Israeli attack on Iran.
There absolutely was an imminent threat, and the imminent threat was that we knew that if Iran was attacked, and we believed they would be attacked, that they would immediately come after us. Obviously, we were aware of Israeli intentions and understood what that would mean for us, and we had to be prepared to act as a result of it. But this had to happen no matter what.
The Israeli defense minister revealed on Israeli television that the plan was conceived by Netanyahu's government in November 2025, and that they plan to conduct an assassination of Khamenei without
When did October? So it's after October
the United
7th.
States. Indeed, Reuters reported the possibility of regime change was one of Netanyahu's arguments in the call shortly before Trump gave final orders to attack Iran. It's worth emphasizing that view was not held by the Central Intelligence Agency, which had assessed in the weeks prior that Khamenei would likely be replaced by an internal hardliner if he was
no
killed.
doubt.
Also at the war's out.
We're gonna radicalize them. You think we're like? You think that they're not gonna get radicalized? You're insane. Did you see how Iran and Iraq, that war never ended? So they have the fighting spirit. They didn't used to have the technology to deal with us, but there is a major shift in the way wars are waged in a very terrifying way. So, I think that, part of this is, Israel dragging us into this, but I think they know that there's been a major sea change in the way wars are waged, and that, they better use these billion-dollar weapons while they still are effective.
Outset. The Wall Street Journal quoted Mick Mulroy, Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East during Trump's first term. The strikes by the U.S. and Israel appear to be maximalist, as they not only targeted the nuclear and ballistic program, but also regime targets, calling for a regime change specifically. Trump appears to have ignored many of his cabinet members in launching this regime change war. His vice president's past statements have come back to haunt him.
When people like Kamala Harris send our sons and daughters, our young people, to fight in stupid wars, it is the young generation.
That's Peter Thiel's little baby boy
That carries the burden of that. We're going to stop sending our young people to faraway lands. We are not the policemen of the world.
Our interest, I think, very much is in not going to war with Iran. It would be a huge distraction of resources. It would be massively expensive to our country.
The American people are done.
This is what happens when you attach yourself to Trump. You become this. You support him. He supports him no matter what. That's what he says. He's like, I'm gotta be a strong country. I can't go against the president. We'll see what he says.
With American
It's just
troops
sickening.
dying in unnecessary foreign conflicts.
CNN reported just over a week after the start of the war that when President Donald Trump first raised the prospect of war with Iran, some of the most serious reservations came from his second-in-command. Vice President J.D. Vance counseled against the perils of launching another unpredictable conflict in the Middle East. But in addition to Vance, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General Dan Kane laid out the potential negative repercussions of striking Iran. Marco Rubio, already occupied with managing the aftermath of January's raid on Venezuela, offered only tepid support at the outset. And Chief of Staff Susie Wiles had spent recent months more focused on political matters, plotting a midterm push focused on domestic priorities she worried had been overshadowed by Trump's foreign policy forays.
All right.
Vance apparently had a difficult phone call with the Prime Minister of Israel on March 23rd.
Is there such a thing as a difficult phone call with this little guy? Would you trust this guy? Would you trust him around your children? I mean, hella
According
no.
to Axios,
Hell
in the call,
no.
Vance mentioned
Fucking war criminal.
that several of Netanyahu's predictions about the war had proved far too optimistic, particularly when it came to the prospects of a popular uprising to topple the regime, according to an Israeli source and a U.S. source. Quoting the American source, before the war, Bibi really sold it to the president as being easy, as regime change being a lot likelier than it was. And the VP was clear-eyed about some of those statements. These rosy predictions were revealed just recently by a New York Times report dubbed the inside story of Trump's decision to go to war.
Maybe it'll work out if they put everybody under Palantir, right? You know, and give everybody digital ID. There's a huge push for that in Europe. And there will be a huge push for it everywhere eventually. And we won't need CCTV because we'll have our phones and everything else recording us constantly. We will willingly choose to be a part of a system that actively fucks you in the ass.
It tells the story of a briefing in the White House Situation Room led by Netanyahu, considered highly unusual for a foreign leader. Netanyahu told Trump's team that Iran's ballistic missile program could be destroyed in a few weeks. The regime would be so weakened that it could not choke off the Strait of Hormuz, and the likelihood that Iran would land blows against U.S. interests in neighboring countries was assessed as minimal. In an especially interesting revelation, Netanyahu said Israel's spy agency would foment riots and rebellion in the country. This seems to lend credence to Iran's claims of Israeli interference in protests in the country. Israel is not alone in doing this, of course, as spy agencies and special forces foment riots and conduct sabotage. These covert operations are done right when there is no trace back to the sponsoring country. Netanyahu also suggested that Kurdish fighters in Iraq would cross the border in order to bolster the rebellion. The president's advisors could see that he had been deeply impressed by the promise of what Mr. Netanyahu's military and intelligence services could do. Trump moved ahead with the decision to join Netanyahu's war, despite the CIA.
What convinced him? The pagers blowing up? I mean, that, you know, irresponsible, dangerous people are at the helm. And, you know, I don't know what else to say, guys.
Director
Just watch.
using one word to describe the Israeli prime minister's regime change scenarios. Farcical.
Indeed.
At that point, Mr. Rubio cut in. In other words, it's bullshit, he said. Vance was also skeptical. General Kane said, "Sir, this is, in my experience, standard operating procedure for the Israelis. They oversell, and their plans are not always well developed. They know they need us, and that's why they're hard selling." Trump apparently dismissed the possibility that Iran would close the Strait of Hormuz, believing
they used the art of the deal against him. Oh, man. Oh, man, dude. The art of the deal was probably written by a bunch of Jews and then
that the regime would capitulate before it came to that. Indeed, Trump thought it would be a very quick war. Far from regime change being quick or easy.
Remember, the Ukraine war will be over. You know, there never would have been a war. Oh, here's a war. We won. Oh, wait, no, we didn't. Here's a blockade. No blockade. Blockade. No blockade. Blockade. We're blockading. They're blockading. Fucking just absolute dog shit. Made up bullshit. And it's absolutely ridiculous, guys.
The Washington Post reported on March 17th that Israeli officials believed Iranians would be slaughtered if they revolted, despite urging them to do so publicly. Trump has yielded to the most pro-Israel and hawkish elements of American foreign policy. Despite firing John Bolton as his national security advisor in his first term, Bolton surely would have been delighted at Trump's recent pivot to regime change in Iran. Bolton has called for bombing Iran for decades. But in a recent guest essay for the New York Times, Bolton pleaded with Trump to finish the job. Durable Middle Eastern peace and security can come only after regime change in Tehran. The president says that has happened, but he is badly mistaken.
Indeed.
Aside from regime change, there is surely more to do to obliterate, to use Mr. Trump's word, Iran's nuclear weapons and ballistic missile programs and production capabilities. On each of these points, Trump appears to have had
Maybe if Israel didn't have a nuclear weapon, then these people wouldn't want a nuclear weapon. Maybe, you know, maybe if they weren't fucking murdering everybody out there.
limited success. On the regime change front, he has failed. All the more damning given that he should have had ample intelligence to foresee this outcome. But less than that, the Israeli-American bombing campaign has not brought the nuclear weapons and ballistic missile program to a halt. Already one day after the strikes began, Ynet reported that despite the blow to its senior leadership, Iran's launch array did not collapse, a pattern that would continue. 1 month later, Ynet quoted Danny Citrinowicz, a research fellow in the Iran program at the Israeli Institute for National Security Studies, and the former head of the Iran branch in IDF Military Intelligence's research division. He said the command and control in Iran is robust, because at the end of the day, there are strategic decisions and actions on the ground. The fire isn't random. On the 1st of April, Trump assessed the nation to make the case for the war and to boast of his progress.
Their ability to launch missiles and drones is dramatically curtailed, and their weapons, factories, and rocket launchers are being blown to pieces.
Are
Very
they?
few of them left.
But CNN reported days later that U.S. intelligence assesses Iran maintains significant missile launching capability. Iran has long hid its launchers in extensive networks of tunnels and caves, preparing for conflict like this for decades, making them particularly difficult to target. In early April, Eric Cortellessa wrote for Time magazine about Trump's search for a way out of the Iran war. Dan Kane appears to have been right in his judgment regarding the Israelis overselling the ease and duration of the war.
That's all they
Following
do.
the initial strikes that killed Iran's supreme
all
leader,
they do.
Tehran's response was expansive.
Mossad is like just a sick, disgusting organization. If you think the CIA is bad, look at Mossad.
Volleys of missiles and drones targeting U.S. bases in Iraq and Syria, barrages against Israeli cities, harassment of commercial shipping in the Persian Gulf, and coordinated attacks by proxy militias across the region. Hegseth was among those taken aback, says a person familiar with his thinking. He was expecting the Iranians to fight back in some form. When they started attacking virtually the entire region, it sort of hit him like, whoa, we're really in this now.
Wow.
There was a more grave concern. Trump wants to end the war, but not without achieving objectives that would definitively prevent Iran from inching closer to a nuclear
How
weapon.
could you definitively
in internal
ever
discussions,
do that?
some national security officials
Oh,
warned.
yeah, and by the way, did you guys ever hear, Zelensky saying he wants to make Ukraine like another Israel? Does that mean that he wants to make another country where you just get unfettered access to U.S. arsenal? Well, I got news for you. We're running low, running low from just one front. If this war opens up on any more fronts, guys, we are absolutely not ready for that. And this is absolutely just another irritant. But you could be like Tim Pool and cope and say Trump's making 4D chess moves. One of the people who used to be most critical of Trump, Tim Pool is fucking retarded. Okay? He's a fucking idiot, and he cannot let anybody else be right. His own ego will be his downfall. He's gonna be the next, the next Jordan Peterson. As far as, Jordan Peterson is gonna have a better legacy than him. I don't know, except they're both Zionists now, so I don't know.
Aimed assault might do more to accelerate Tehran's ambitions than deter them. Quoting a White House official, the only way they think they can prevent something like this from happening again is to have a nuclear weapon.
Nuclear hedging, as Nick Fuentes would say, right? I don't know. I do not know, but I know that we should not be fucking around. Let Israel do it. Let Israel do all of it, man. All of the, diaspora, why don't they just go back to Israel and they all get conscripted in this war and they fight it? If they're so brilliant, the smartest people ever are the Jews, you know what I mean? They're just so fucking intelligent. Why then are we in a war that's absolutely insanely bad and stupid for us? Because these fucking remember Jordan Peterson said give them hell. Well, I mean, maybe you believe in karma, maybe you don't. What is even going on with that guy?
The threat from proxy forces such as Hezbollah, for example, has also not been eliminated. Despite their 2024 mauling that included the pager fiasco and the death of their leader, Hezbollah has not been defeated. Military analyst Amos Harel wrote in mid-March for Haaretz, it turns out that its ability to hit the home front is greater than military intelligence had assessed. His colleague Yaniv Kubovich reported just recently that IDF military intelligence and Northern Command reports compiled in recent days show that Hezbollah maintains an organized hierarchical structure and that the group's command and control array allows it to effectively deploy its forces and maintain operational continuity while fighting. In another intelligence failure, the IDF was surprised by the amount of weapons Hezbollah managed to deploy south of the Litani River after the November 2024 ceasefire.
How many missiles did we waste defending Israel? Oh man, if we had just let them hit, we should have just let them hit.
According to military sources, Israeli troops continue discovering arms caches, underground installations, and observation posts, showing that much of Hezbollah's logistics capability survived. Trump also has to reckon with the economic and monetary costs of the war. It's worth remembering that Trump so badly wanted to lower interest rates that he launched a criminal investigation into the chairman of the Federal Reserve. A federal judge eviscerated the case, writing in his decision, "There is abundant evidence that the subpoena's dominant, if not sole, purpose is to harass and pressure Jerome Powell either to yield to the president or to resign and make way for a Fed chair who will." Further, the government has offered no evidence whatsoever that Powell committed any crime other than displeasing the president.
The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
All of
Or the preferences of Israel.
that is to say, Trump very much wants interest rates to go down.
We have a stupid person, frankly, at the Fed. Because of one numbskull that sits here, I don't see enough raises.
Numbskull.
And cut the rates. Each point that this gentleman keeps up costs us $365 billion a year. Think of that. When the market goes
How much does the war cost?
up,
Far more than that, right? I mean, what is that, 10 missiles?
they should lower rates. And I want somebody that when the market is doing great, interest rates can go down.
Launching
I'm
this
not going to have the cope of, like, stability. We have to do this. We have a continent. We could be our own regional power. We could go back to a multipolar world. We could decouple from Israel. It just takes somebody with some courage in a position of power. We cannot continue on this way, guys. Whatever happens the next election cycle is going to determine everything. If we don't get destroyed before.
war in Iran has all but assured that they will not.
The FOMC decided to leave our policy rate unchanged. The implications of developments in the Middle East for the U.S. economy are uncertain.
Trump has left the world to deal with the rising costs to borrow money, affecting credit card bills and mortgage rates. The costs
all we do is borrow money. All we do is sell debt. It's a trick that we learned from the Jews.
Associated with rising fuel prices is likely yet to be felt in full. The head of the International Energy Agency told the Figaro newspaper that the current crisis is more serious than those of 1973, 1979, and 2022 combined. The world has never experienced a disruption to
gas is almost $5 a gallon down here, where gas is cheap.
To energy supplies of such
definitely over 4
magnitude. A recent New York Times opinion article by one Jonathan Mingle reminds us all that as painful as the first phase of the energy crisis set off by the war with Iran has been, what comes next will be worse. This week, the final deliveries of oil and liquefied natural gas to Asia that passed through the Strait of Hormuz before it was closed are expected to arrive. The last tanker shipments to Europe should land by mid-April. After that, many countries' reserves of gasoline, diesel, liquid petroleum gas, and natural gas will dwindle. The problem is not solved simply by reopening the strait. It could be years before the oil and gas supply is restored to pre-war levels. After Iranian missiles struck the Ras Laffan liquefied natural gas export facility in Qatar, the country ceased production of the fuel entirely, suddenly taking 20% of the world's supply off the market. Officials predict it will take 3 to 5 years
So this was 7 days ago. I wonder how much has changed since then.
bring that plant, the world's largest, fully online again. Other operators in the region also cut back on producing oil and gas because they are running out of places to store it all. Those wells can't just be flipped back on like a light switch. It will take months to ramp production back up. While Iran's leaders miscalculated in their fate,
I feel like there is something they're not telling us. I mean, or we're just absolutely committed to this insane war and there's no way out. It reminds me of the president at the end. Did you guys ever see, what was it called? The Dead Zone with Christopher Walken? Where he had to assassinate the president because he was getting visions of the future, and that was played by Emilio Estevez, I think. But he was like a religious fundamentalist, you know. He was like a Christian fundamentalist. The crazy guy had access to the football, you know, they call it, with all the ability to call a nuclear strike from anywhere in the world that the president has near or on him at all times. Well, in that movie, the president decided he was going to do that, and this guy with his visions from the future had to stop it. And the funny thing is, you know, they, like, in all movies, they want to put it on fundamentalist Christians, or Israelis. Never is on the Israelis, but these fundamentalist Christians, the ones who would do it would be Zionists. So, I don't know. Yeah. We need, as Christians, we need to move away from Zionism 100%, detach ourselves from the satanic shit. As a secular person, you have every reason in the world to not want this. Okay? Stop believing the lies that this is going to somehow needs to be done. Otherwise, stability is at risk. We don't have to do it this way, you guys. We could actually have a free market again. I don't know. Right now, we're like at the end stages of the game of Monopoly. All right? That's why you're allowed to put poison in the food and stuff. Because if you have a monopoly, who's there to stop it? You know what I mean? There's no competition. There's no other company making something more healthy than the other one when the game is rigged.
full meeting that was bombed, killing their supreme leader.
And it doesn't take a conspiracy theory like George Carlin used to say, which I'm no George Carlin fan. I think he is kind of like a degenerate. But, you know, even a broken clock is right twice a day. And, you know, he said it doesn't take, you know, a conspiracy theory for interests to converge. And it doesn't. But I don't, you know, these interests are, there's people making money off of it, all right? There's so much blood money flowing it's another wealth transfer. Just like how in 2020, after COVID hit, that was the biggest wealth transfer in U.S. history from the middle and lower class to the elites. This is going to be another one of those. Every time something like this happens, the money moves upwards. There is no trickle down anymore. Maybe I'll give this that fucking maybe trickle down economics would work if you had a society full of, you know, people who were actually had a sense of morality and wanted to employ people. We were better under people who just wanted us working in factories. We were better under the mafia than we are under this, honestly. Like the mafia was like a little child compared to this. This is like straight demonic.
United States misread the situation themselves. Iran's response, as far as the reporting shows, was unexpected. The Wall Street Journal reported in early March that Trump has at times been surprised that Tehran won't cave despite the unrelenting joint U.S.-Israeli military campaign. Iran has fought a classic asymmetric war. Badly crippled and weak, it thrashed and used the comparatively meager arsenal at its disposal to take out a fifth of the world's oil.
Use a $20,000 drone to take out an $8 million missile. If you just do some simple arithmetic, you'll find that they were studying what was happening in Ukraine. They came up with a strategy to deal specifically with our strategy, which is air power and missiles. And if you can deal with that strategy, the only other thing you can do is put boots on the ground. And now boots on the ground are becoming less valuable. Somebody has to occupy ground, but you're just basically there to absorb the damage. I mean, honestly, this is a nightmare scenario, guys.
Oil supply. It was effective. Trump hasn't achieved many of his stated objectives, least of all regime change.
What objective has he achieved? Okay. He's crippled the world's oil supply, making us weaker. Okay. The only objective he achieved was grabbing Maduro. All right. He was high on his own supply after that, it seems. And the Israelis probably knew there was no better time to ask Donald Trump than after he had a successful operation that he thought he could pull off a hat trick, maybe.
He has now brought upon himself an unfortunate reality, having to justify this war of choice, which has made the cost of living soar. Ironically, it was his promise to fight inflation that won him the election. The mood in Israel following this most recent ceasefire is largely negative. A poll by Walla and Ma'ariv, two Israeli news outlets, shows that only 22% of respondents...
This is what I'm saying. These are like either North Korean numbers where the polling is totally off, or these people are that percent evil. Okay? That is 78% evil.
Believed the U.S. and Israel won the war. Israel's inability to remove the threat posed by their regional enemies has led to a change in their overall strategy. Reuters recently spoke to several Israeli military officials who told them
and if there is a truce, they're gonna try and break it. This is why you never get involved. Once you get in, you don't get out. They will do everything they can to keep this war keep going, you know? And the people on our end in the U.S., there's incentive for them, say you work at Raytheon or something, because you're making tons of money. So all they have to do is work with the weapons manufacturers directly, basically, and they can lobby. They can have them lobby. They can use AIPAC to lobby. They can put pressure on us in so many ways. But it's all an illusion. I mean, you don't have to do it. You don't have to be a coward and, do what Israel says, okay? It's better to die a man than to die a goy.
Israel is seizing more territory from its neighbors in preparation for a long, drawn-out conflict across the Middle East. The approach acknowledges a reality the official said had become increasingly clear. Iran's clerical leadership, Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, and militias...
When the boomers are gone, y'all, I don't know what's going to happen. But if the boomers wake up to this and actually change their mind, that would be an amazing miracle by God to do that for us. Because it is fucking hard to get through to them. Oh, gosh, dude. They're so propagandized. It's insane.
Across the region cannot be eliminated outright.
Indeed. All right, guys. Maybe we'll do one more video. How long have I been streaming already? Where can I see that? But let's see. 28 minutes. Okay, maybe we'll do another little short thing here. I think there was, what is this? Get out of the big mode, please. Here we go. All right. This looks interesting. That's way too long.
A multitude of inhabitants walked one after another.
I can't do that right now, guys. How they lie about literally there's so much that I could go through right here.
Mike Huckabee looks at this and thinks it's what Christ would have wanted.
That's exactly right. That's absolutely disgusting, guys. Absolutely fucking
So
disgusting.
this is making the rounds. There's a IDF soldier, or do you say IOF? IDF stands for Israeli Defense Force, but the IOF means you're an Israeli occupying force, which is actually more accurate.
Well, I'd like an M for moral in there somewhere, please.
Yeah, I know. So this is making the round. So there's an Israeli soldier. He's got the smashing that.
That's all you need to see. Do you need to see anything more? That's offensive, but I think Jesus himself would be more offended by the killing that's going on.
Head of Jesus Christ statue during operations in southern Lebanon. And you know what? In that IDF soldier's defense, he probably...
These absolute pieces of human garbage need to repent, because at the end of the day, they're going to pay for this. I mean, whether in a secular manner or a religious manner, if you take a look at this secularly, they're going down. There's no way they can win this. All right. If you take a look at it religiously, they might win somehow, or secularly, you could say that as well. They might win because maybe they figure out how to really create a police state, or really put money in the hands of the right people to get what they want. They're very good at that. Very bold. They'd probably like every person like me to die, you know? I don't doubt it. It's absolutely disgusting, and anything that I can bring awareness to, I'm going to. So
didn't know it was Jesus, and he probably just thought he was murdering a Red Cross doctor.
They look so close, you know?
They're so close. So close.
These doctors, they come in, they're hard to tell apart from you-know-who.
So now they got Jesus hanging upside down as they bash his head in. What happened? They weren't able to add the theme music from The Omen?
Is there candy? Is this one of their parties?
Maybe they just didn't want to pay for royalties.
Maybe they were just looking for Lebanese child inside of there so that they could use the hammer on him.
So here, a local page from the Christian town of Deeble mentioned that the statue belongs to them. The page remarked, "Father, forgive them. They know what they do." Whoa.
No, they know not what they do.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought they switched
Completely different meaning.
I know. Yeah, I know that. I thought
they know what they do physically. They know that they've rejected Christ, but yeah, I don't think they know what they do in the sense of what's going to happen to them when they die.
They had switched it. Okay.
Well,
Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. I think they know what they do.
I think by now, you know, in part one, they didn't know what they do.
I mean, it certainly looks like the IDF guy knows what they do. Doesn't
he
it?
took the time to put it upside down first, and then did a picture of it.
It bothers me how much they laugh at this stuff.
These guys know. I think the side note was these guys know exactly what they're doing, and they want to react.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I have a dark sense of humor and stuff, but lately, I just find this stuff sickening, and I just it's not. You know, I'm glad they're exposing it, but it's not really like let's just sit here and chuckle about it. That's what that's what an Israeli would do.
Action.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
By the way, they blew up where Jesus was born. I feel like this is not even in the top 10 of things they've done.
Adam tweets out, a recent image shows an Israeli soldier smashing a statue of Jesus with a sledgehammer. The U.S. ambassador to Israel admitted to Tucker Carlson that Christians face persecution. In sharp contrast, the neighboring Muslim country of Lebanon treats Christians with respect.
That's not what Patrick Bet-Value said. He said the best.
Patrick Bet-Retard, man. I hate to share the same name. Why is there a Syrian guy named Patrick? It's so strange to me. Why would you be named Patrick? Aren't you from Persia or wherever the fuck you're from? That's such a strange name to choose. And then he's like, Patrick Bet David's like, I don't get it with the Catholics hating the Jews. Why are you pushing it on to Catholics? Do these look like Catholics to you? These people? Did the GDF guy look like a Catholic to you? Is Tucker Carlson Catholic? No. How are you pushing it on to Catholics? I think you're just saying that they're not Zionists. I mean, that I don't know how much the Catholic Church's full stance on this and all this stuff, but they're less Zionist than like charismatic Christians and stuff. So Patrick Bet David, I'd love to see where your money's coming from. I'd love to see was your business built on real acumen, or was it built off of the fake money, the fake everything of the synagogue of Satan here?
Well, it's called Judeo-Christian values. That's when a bunch of cults.
Judeo-Christian values. Okay. Which Jews? The ones that were Edomites at the time of Christ's crucifixion? Those Jews? Are we going to put their values? Are we going to put the values of the people who killed Jesus into are we incorporating them? Judeo-Christian values. Look at that picture. That's what happens when you put the Judeo in front of the Christian, guys. Take a look.
Pretend to be Christian or Jewish while they act like Satan.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works.
Here's more. So can someone explain to me why this Israeli soldier reportedly broke off the head of Jesus in Lebanon? And this guy, Max Abrams, who's a complete, he says, when you have to rely on obvious AI jobs. So he's running around trying to pretend this was AI, did it all day. He's trying to pretend this is an AI, but not real.
Why would you make an AI of that, of all things?
Well, maybe
like a statue.
Maybe Max is artificial intelligence because he doesn't seem to have any real intelligence.
Well, I think he is. It works. Is intelligence for someone.
So here, Glenn Greenwald says the self-proclaimed Middle East scholar, Israel loyalist Max Abrams, that guy I just showed you, spent the day telling everyone that the photo of the IDF soldier smashing the head of Jesus statue in Lebanon was obvious AI job. Sadly for him, even the IDF was forced to admit that it's real. And here's the IDF, Israel Defense Forces. Following the completion of an initial examination regarding a photograph published earlier today of an IDF soldier harming a Christian symbol, not bashing its head off, but just harming it. It. It was determined that the photograph depicts an IDF soldier operating in southern Lebanon. The IDF views this incident with great severity and emphasizes that the soldier's conduct is wholly inconsistent with the values expected of its troops.
They're allowed to rape Arabs.
Not just Arabs. I mean, if you look in the Talmud, anybody who reads the Torah in any way is liable to death. You're also allowed to have sex with anybody who's over 3 years in one day, because they say that in the book, in the Talmud, it says, because it's like trying to put your finger in an eye. You know, it's not ready. It's not deep enough. Disgusting.
To rape their Arab prisoners.
I know.
Absolutely sick.
But they did this on purpose. They wanted people to be upset, and they wanted to make a display of going, this is not our... Like when the troops couldn't pee on corpses back in the day.
Yes,
in Iraq, remember that?
Yeah, remember that. So this is...
Oh, whoop-de-doo.
This doesn't reflect their values. How is this inconsistent with their values? Why? Because they didn't put on a dead woman's dress and
They're Nazi values.
Actually violate the statue? You mean that kind of values?
They didn't go full Johnny Somali on this one, Jimmy.
Here's from the Times of
Johnny Somali is a saint compared to this.
Israel. IDF says image of soldier destroying Jesus statue in Lebanon is real. Vows action.
Oh, what action?
So if you kill a statue, they'll do something. But if you slaughter 40,000 children, it's like that's just part of that's how it goes.
Or you blow up Jesus' birthplace. You can blow that up, and we got past that. And this is the thing. They did this on purpose.
So when they say they vowed to take action, I think the action is going to be allowing the soldier to go to Thailand so he can get his ass kicked out of every restaurant he goes to.
Yeah, and have sex with some lady boys and get into all sort of fucking Jewish degeneracy. Go watch a Seth Rogen movie, guys. Forget about it. That's what, I mean... The fucking, if you follow everything at the end of the day, almost everything leads back the beginning of all these wicked, all the bad things is like, at the end of the day, you follow the money line. Like 80% of it leads to Israel, 20% leads to maybe communist subversion or something, which was created by a bunch of Jews, just so you know. Communism, socialism, it was created by Jews.
By a bunch of ladyboys. The Israeli Defense Forces confirms the authenticity of the photo showing a soldier in southern Lebanon smashing a statue of Jesus with a sledgehammer and says it will take action against those involved. Following an initial review of the photo, the military
What
says
sort of action? Are they going to give him a lollipop?
that it was determined that the photograph depicts an IDF's, okay, the IDF used this, okay, we already read all that to you. The incident is being investigated by the Northern Command and is being handled through the chain of command, the IDF says, adding that appropriate measures will be taken against those involved. And okay, I'm sure. You don't even punish people for taking, it's part of your thing to do target practice on children. Hey, today we're going to shoot their shoulders. Tomorrow we're going to shoot their stomachs. Tomorrow we're going to take headshots.
Yeah. Let's practice on the children. Let's shoot them. Please, Zionists, defend this, please. You know, the most moral military in the world. We drop a bomb that makes a noise and doesn't do any damage, so people have time to evacuate. Maybe it's so you can wait outside to grab and rape and molest and fucking just absolutely destroy people's lives and become the most evil entity on earth.
On children.
Well, that's why they're mad, because you're supposed to do it on children and not on statues.
They say this: the Northern Command will also assist the Christian community in restoring the statue to its place. Hey, let me tell you, don't let the group of Israeli art students rebuild the Jesus statue. Why? Because they're going to fill it with explosives and bring it down on the next September 11th. That's
right.
Yeah, I mean, which will be any minute now.
Yeah. Bibi Netanyahu condemns the destruction of... He says military authorities are conducting a criminal probe of the matter and will take appropriate... They literally... He adds that this is like Tony Soprano saying we're going to look into this guy we saw jaywalking. We are upset about the jaywalking, and we're launching a probe. He adds that Israel is the only place in the middle.
The only probes that the Israelis like are probes that go up their own asses.
At least that
fucking sick degenerates.
Here's to freedom of worship for all. Oh, really?
This is because Officer Tatum and Tim Pool said, Bibi, listen, we need something so we don't look like complete cucks, like getting spit on and all that other stuff doesn't look good. So we need something where Israel's like, we're the good ones that are Western democracy.
So they're afraid of losing all the Christians at once. That's what I think it's a little late for that, because it's already happened. And without the Christian Zionists,
I think Erica Kirk is like a reptile, or definitely like a Jew or something. There's something wrong with that bitch.
Don't have a marching army to go anywhere and fight for them. That's the problem.
When you don't have those stupid zombie ants that you could infect like a fungus, it turns out.
Yeah.
So here's from Genocide Watch. Christians, Druids,
What's that guy's name who made The Last of Us? I think that is actually, like I said, they can't help but tell on themselves. That is what they hope to do to us.
Whites attacked in Al-Shiraz, Syria. So we got rid of a place that was very safe for Christians, and we installed the chief head chopper from Al-Qaeda, and they're slaughtering Christians all over Syria now.
And there's all kinds of scumbag fake Christian things on YouTube where they talk about how, like, remember, Nigeria is attacking Christians.
Yeah.
Or Muslims are Sharia laws creeping into the U.S. That's a fake Christian thing. It's every single time. It's some kind of operation for Israel.
Israel and Syria agreed a U.S. supervised communication cell for military de-escalation. So this guy is working
Let's just jump ahead here, right?
So just to let you know, this is how much Israel practices freedom and respect for each religion. Occupation forces assaulted Christians in the Church of Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem.
Yeah, right.
Knowing that Christian countries are the primary supporters of this terrorist. This is amazing. Think about that. So watch this. Mike Huckabee knows this stuff is happening. Mr. Christian and all those Southern Baptists, or I don't know, the evangelicals, put it that way. I know when I say Baptist, but the evangelical Zionist Christian preachers, they know this stuff is happening too.
Right.
And they don't care, because they're all used car salesmen.
It's all PSYOP, and it's all an Intel back thing. And that's what that's what American Christianity has been for like the whole time. Some weird garbage cult controlled by Intel.
So let's watch how they treat the Christians in Jerusalem on Easter Sunday. You want to see how they treat the Christians? They assault them. Easter in Jerusalem, 2026. This is 2026.
Lord God, have mercy. Land Trusters, are you there yet? Are you there yet?
So you get it. You get it. So you get it. So
look at this guy. Is this who you want ruling you guys? Look at this fucking genetic freak. Is this what you want ruling you?
All this tells us is one thing: they aren't scared of anything anywhere in the world, except
there might have been a reason that one time in the Bible that they were commanded to kill all the women and children of a certain tribe, right? And what was it? Saul didn't follow through on that command, so David had to take over. Maybe there was actually a reason for that. Maybe.
All the Christians uniting against them at once, even with that, the way they treat them.
Because these people, they kill women and children. From the cradle to the grave, they're murderers. I don't trust a single one.
They thought they could get away with it because no one's going to do anything. And no one has done anything forever. And you got,
but if they provoke more,
you got cucks like Mike Huckabee going over there and licking their nuts. How many
all the people sneaking on the Epstein Island, you should really be sneaking into Israel. Please do. Show us.
Things that you never thought you would ever see in your lifetime have you seen lately?
All the things.
All the things. So let's watch. Here's the Israelis spend their morning spitting and harassing Christian no kidding.
A very goofy movie from back in the day.
Look at that.
They hate Christians. But so that's kind of ironic that Patrick Bet-Value would say that.
It's so funny that they're 30% European, right? They won't let testing be done on the corpses of actual Jews to check for DNA. The ones that they have tested for showed that they did have DNA with the Edomites, though. To have Jews that were forced to convert, you know, not the real Jews, the ones that were actually in Palestine when they moved in, okay? Instead, you get this. Get these sick fucks who, for some reason, you're so dysgenic that you think having fucking hair coming out the side of your head looks good. I mean, and then you try to trick God with your fucking religion. Like, as long as I don't turn on the electrical circuit, I'm good with God. Why don't you, try and put your sin into an animal and slaughter it and see if that still works? Oh, wait, you're probably doing that with children. You sick fucks.
That, it was the Catholics who have a problem with the Jews. It's obviously the other way around.
Yeah.
And the Jews, the Zionists, have gotten the Muslims who respect and revere Jesus and the Mother Mary. Unlike the Israeli Zionist Jews, they've got the.
I will say that the Muslims are closer to us than the Jews. There's going to be a lot of great deceptions going on, so I don't know, but they have a chance. They have a heart. A lot of them don't want this murder happening. I mean, there's evil people that are Muslim, just as there is evil people who are Christian. Like they're talking about, like Mike Huckabee. Maybe there's I don't know enough about the Muslim world, but maybe there's a group of Muslims who have cozied up to Israel more than others. I would recommend not doing that. And I think probably the Muslims know they shouldn't.
Muslims and the Christians to somehow hate each other and think they're enemies. It's a brilliant trick. They did pull it off, and they pulled it off. They pulled it off.
America really well. Well, it's since the 1800s.
People are afraid of Sharia law and stuff coming to their Christian.
Their little spell is breaking, though. Their little hermeneutic, dialectical sort of spell is breaking. It's all falling apart to anybody who has ears and eyes and wants to know the truth. It's falling apart to anybody who actually anybody's actually cared about the truth. The truth will set you free. Like, that's why, in the Bible and stuff, it doesn't say don't seek the truth. It never says that. It encourages you to seek the truth because the truth will always lead to one thing.
No idea about Noahide that we already got.
And it's not the truth is not that the Jews are like some special race that we need to fucking give privileges to. They've become the Nazis. I mean, dude, I'm just going to go ahead and say they're, I don't see how the Nazis are any better or worse than them. You know what I mean? The Nazis only had like a 5-year reign. So this has been going on quite a long time. And the Nazis didn't have access to, intercontinental ballistic missiles, shit like that.
They've already arrested somebody for a joke because somebody said
They just arrested. Oh, I wanted to show that. Oh, yeah, I wanted to show that.
I mean, the Nazis did at the end of the war a little bit, and then we got it. At this point, you wonder what the world would be like had they won. I don't know. I mean, I can understand, why people would have been upset with the Jews at any point.
They arrested a woman from a WhatsApp chat who made a joke about Benjamin Netanyahu bombing their law school. And they arrested her.
Threat, yeah.
She's in They didn't just arrest her. She got an orange jumper on. Like that kind of arrested.
Isn't that kind of validating the idea that Netanyahu is a terrorist if you arrest her as a threat for...
Right? So here they are spitting on Christians. I gotta tell you, the hairstyle is fantastic, though.
Hey, Frank Turek, I want you to defend this. I think Frank Turek is probably an Israeli operative.
It doesn't make him...
Somebody needs to look into him, okay? Why did Erica Kirk go on a shopping spree the day after the day of Charlie Kirk's death? Why were Charlie Kirk's legs dangling out of the car? What the fuck actually happened?
That is the worst. Maybe you want to update that.
I would not put anything past these people, guys.
What is that?
Nobody has hair like that.
Let me get this straight. The statue was unharmed under Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, and as soon as it was under Israeli control, they destroyed it. And Israelis are telling us Hezbollah is the enemy of Christians, even though they were the ones who saved Christians from ISIS.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Mike Huckabee looks at this and thinks it's what Christ would have wanted.
That's exactly right.
Exactly right.
Well, Huckabee's not a Christian. He's a Noahide slave. He's a golem is what he is, like an automaton.
Okay. All right. If you want to hear my jokes about this, come see me May 7th in Burbank, and then we're going to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma City.
That's it for now. I hope that you could see, a bit of that. I mean, there's absolutely so much evidence that this is like the root of all of our problems. Okay. I know that in Europe, there's a particular animus towards Muslims because they've been flooded with like the, mentally ill, they've been, and not just Muslims, but like, people from Pakistan, whatever, just flooded with the people, the malcontents from other countries because we bombed Libya and then we just flooded them. And now Israel's talking about we should send these people to Europe again. They fucking hate Europeans, okay? And if you think that hate is not going to eventually one day transfer to the U.S., you're delusional. You're fucking crazy. So take some time to think about this. If you believe in God and you still support this, I don't know how you can after you get this information. If you're ignorant of it, that's one thing. But if you're purposely ignorant and just shutting your eyes to it, I don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to answer for that one day. So that's going to be it for me, guys, today. So I hope that this has been enlightening to those of you, whether you are Christian, Muslim, atheist, whatever. I think we all can agree that this is evil. I think it can be the one thing that could unite us, ironically, is a hatred for Israel. So, you know, either put your blinders on, you know, or open them up. Okay? If you care about safety more than, you know, I said the quote from Benjamin Franklin earlier. I'm not going to do it again. You guys know what's right and wrong. You know in your damn hearts. All right? So that's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Figure it the fuck out.